There was a point in my life where I looked at my bank account and just felt stuck. Not broke exactly, not in a crisis, just this low level feeling that everyone around me seemed to have figured out something that nobody had ever actually explained to me. And the more I dug into it, the more I realized that this feeling wasn't an accident. Nobody taught me how money works. Not in school, not in home, not anywhere. And by the time I started figuring it out, I had already made a bunch of mistakes that cost me real time and real money. This video is the conversation I needed back then. If you're 18, 19, 20, this is for you. If you're a bit older and still feel like you missed something, honestly, this video can still help. So let's get into it. I used to tell myself I'd get serious about money when I actually had some. When the job got better, when the paycheck got bigger, when life got more real. And I think a lot of people tell themselves the same thing. And it sounds reasonable until you understand what's actually happening underneath it. Your money habits don't start when you have money. They start right now with whatever you have. The way you handle $300 is almost exactly the way you'll handle 3,000. The behavior is the same, the instincts are the same. Only the stakes change. So if right now your default is to spend everything that comes in, more money will not fix that. It never does. It just gives you more money to spend. I had to learn that the hard way. And when I finally did start treating small amounts seriously, saving a little, being intentional with where it went, something shifted. Not just in my account, but also in how I thought about it. That shift is what compounds. Start it now, even if the amounts feel embarrassingly small. I remember getting my first credit card and genuinely not understanding what it was. I knew it wasn't free money, but I think somewhere in the back of my head, I treated it like kind of was. Like the bill at the end of the month was a problem for future me. Here's what nobody told me. A credit card is a loan. Every single swipe. And if you don't pay the full balance at the end of the month, not the minimum, the full balance, you're being charged interest on that loan, often 20, 25, even 30% annually. That math is brutal. Put $1,000 on a card, pay the minimum every month, and you'll still be paying it off years later, having paid hundreds of dollars extra for the privilege. But here's what I also didn't know. Credit, used correctly, is one of the most useful tools you can have at this age. Your credit score affects whether you can rent an apartment, get a phone contract, finance a car, eventually buy a house. And building it is not complicated. One card, small regular purchases, paid in full every single month, and never miss this payment. That's it. The trap isn't credit. The trap is touching it before you understand it. For a long time, I had zero financial buffer. And the thing about having no buffer is that every unexpected expense, a car repair, a phone breaking, a shift getting cut, immediately becomes a crisis. And crises are expensive. You end up putting things on credit that you can't pay off or making decisions under pressure that cost you more in the long run. There was a period when I felt like I was constantly one bad week away from things falling apart. And I don't think that feeling is unusual at this age. I think most people feel it and just don't talk about it. The thing that changed it for me was building an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of basic expenses sitting in a high yield savings account not being touched. It's the most boring financial advice in the world, and I'm sure you've heard it everywhere. But it's the most important, because once it exists, once you actually have that buffer, a bad month stops being a threat. It's just a bad month. You dip into the fund, you rebuild it, and you move on. That psychological shift from feeling fragile to feeling stable is worth more than almost anything else in this world. At some point, I came across a comparison that genuinely stopped me. Two people, same habit, same $100 a month invested, same 7% average annual return. Person A starts at 18 years old, person B starts at 26. By the time they're both 60, person A has roughly $262,000. Person B, roughly $121,000. Same amount invested, same habit, 10 years difference, half the outcome. That's a simple version of compound interest. And when I actually understood it, not just heard the word, but understood what it meant for me right now, it was one of those moments where something clicked. The most powerful variable is not how much you invest, it's how early you start. And time is the one thing you generally cannot buy back later. You don't need a lot to start. A Roth IRA, an index fund, a habit of putting something in every month. The amount matters less than you think. Consistency is everything. Someone's young, not making much, not spending much. They work hard, they get a better job. The income goes up, and almost immediately the apartment gets nicer, the car gets newer, and the habits get more expensive. It feels earned. Sometimes it is earned. I'm not saying don't enjoy your money. But there's a version of this where your expenses rise exactly as fast as your income. So no matter how much you make, you never actually pull ahead. You just live bigger. The gap between what you earn and what you keep stays the same or it gets worse. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's not something that happens to careless people. It happens to almost everyone, including me, and most likely you, almost automatically, because it's invisible while it's happening. The people I've actually seen build financial security aren't always the ones who made the most money. They're the ones who protected the gap, countered the inflation, and built between what they earned and what they spent, and did something with it. Every raise is a decision point. Most people spend the raise. The ones who get ahead save at least part of it. When I first was starting out at my job, I thought the most important thing about a job was the salary. And look, the salary or hourly pay matters. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't. But at 18, 19, or 20, there's something that matters more, and it's what you're learning at this job. A job that pays a bit more but teaches you nothing is worth less than a job that pays a bit less but puts you around people you can actually learn from. Because skills also compound. A person who becomes genuinely good at something valuable, writing, sales, coding, operations, managing people, will out-earn the person who just chased the highest starting number almost every time within a few years. At this stage, your income is going to grow faster from getting better at things at negotiating at a slightly higher starting rate. Optimize for learning first. The money follows from that, not the other way around. Nobody's coming to sort this out for you. I don't mean that darkly, I mean it literally. The school system did not teach me this. It might have taught you, but it's usually not an accident. Financial literacy is not broadly in anyone's commercial interest to spread. The banks profit when you're confused. Credit card companies make money when you carry a balance. A lot of the system is built on you not fully understanding how the financial world works, which means figuring it out on your own. And when I finally accepted that, really accepted it, and not just nodded at it, something changed. Because it also meant the gap between where I was and where I wanted to be was something I could actually close. It just required deciding to. The people I've seen get ahead financially, they all have one big thing in common. They decided to take it seriously before they were forced to. Not because of a crisis, not because, oh, next week will come, not because someone made them, just because they chose to. You are watching this. That's already a choice. I'm proud of that. None of this is complicated. That's what gets me most about the way money is talked about. It gets dressed up in jargon and complexity so you feel like you need a course or a financial advisor or years of experience before you can understand it. But the foundations, they're not hard. Start the habits now. Understand credit before you use it. Build a buffer. Start investing early, even small amounts. Don't let your lifestyle eat every single raise. Learn more than you earn in your first job. And accept that this is yours to figure out. Because it is. You have time, but time will not wait for you. That's the whole conversation I wish I'd had at 18. If this one part hit home, drop it in the comments. I read every comment. Thank you.